there, I'm Alan Matthews from Classical Guitar Shed, and we are going to be talking today about how do I know if a piece is too hard for me or if it's appropriate for my level. How do I actually gauge that without a teacher or without knowing? How do I look at a piece of music and know, is this piece too hard for me? If you enjoy this, please subscribe to this channel and also hit the bell for the notifications. Great, so there are a number of things that we can do to see if a piece is appropriate for us and to see if we want to play it and if we're up for the challenge. The first thing is that we can just listen to somebody else play it. We can get onto YouTube and find somebody playing it and say, do I think that I could play that? This is not always accurate, but chances are you'll be able to see if it's way over your head, you'll be able to see that. If it's got massive stretches and you don't do that, if it's way faster than anything else you play, then you can say, you know what, this is probably not for me. But listening to that then, listening to the person playing it, you can ask, do I play other things that are about at this level? Do I play other similar things that look to have the same challenges? Looking at their hands playing, do I look like that when I'm playing, or am I close to that? So that's the first thing. The next is that we can actually then pull out the score, pull out the sheet music, and look at it and ask ourselves a few questions. First off, do I understand what's going on? Do I understand these rhythms? Do I know 3/4 time? Do I know all the ink on the page? Do I know what this is? This little fermata? Do I know what this sign means? Do I know? And just because we don't know doesn't mean that we can't learn, but it's just good to know what we don't know to begin with, right? So we can look at what is the range? Do I play this high? What's the highest note? Looking through here, here's a C going up, here's a high E up here. And so do I play up high on the neck? Do I play other things that are high on the neck? And if I don't, then, well, that's something to consider, right? It doesn't mean I can't now, but the question is how much reading is up there and how much time am I going to have to spend figuring out the notes up there? Another thing is, are there any bar chords? And how good am I at bar chords? There's a bar chord. We can see that with the, that was a straight line. Well, there's a bar chord line. Here's another one. These are half bars. And so do we know how to play a half bar? So we can look at these type of techniques. We can also look at how long do the bar chords last? And do I have that much strength? Sometimes they last for 16, 32 bars. They can last for a page and a half. And pieces are really heavy on bar chords. Here's, 3 bars down here, another couple of bars down here. Can I deal with that? So that's some of the things that we can do. And that just gets us in the ballpark of, do I know what's going on in this piece? Same thing with the rhythms. Do I understand the rhythms? Another thing we can look at is the tempo. Allegretto. Do I know what that means? And can I play that fast? Can I play eighth notes? Or it looks like there's a couple of 16th notes in a slur right here. There's another one right there, just a single one. But it's mostly eighth notes in allegretto. Can I do that? Do I play comfortably in that tempo, in that speed already? Now the next thing that we can do is we can take pieces of it that we suspect might be difficult and we can play with them. So we can just take out, instead of just starting at the beginning of the piece and saying, okay, I'm going to learn this puppy. Instead we can look at it and say, okay, what if this part right here, I'm skeptical about this part right here. And so I want to just take that out and play it. So just that much, and I can make a study out of that. So I can spend a few days or a couple of days or however long it takes just working on just some little bits of the parts that I anticipate being the tricky bits of the piece. So we can pull those out and work on them and say, based on these bits, do I think that I could string these bits together and make this piece sound as good as I want it to play? And that brings us to the next thing, which is to set our expectations, to really ask ourselves the hard questions and say, what are my expectations for this piece? So we can ask ourselves, how long is this going to take me to learn? Is this like a multi-year process piece? If I'm going to learn the Bach chaconne, am I, if I'm just an early intermediate player, that's a really long-term project. It's a big piece, 15 some odd minutes. And so how long is this going to take? Is it going to take a week? Is it going to take a month, a year, 6 months? What's in store for there? Also, how much work is this going to take? Is there a thorny section in every other bar? Or is there just constantly crazy things that are difficult to execute? If so, that's going to take a lot of work to work it out. So how long do I think that's going to take, and how much work am I going to have to put into it? And then also, what kind of level do I expect to play this? Whenever I get the notes under my fingers, how well do I really expect to play this? If you think you're going to play it as well as, Andre Segovia or whoever you want to, Lorenzo Michele or some of these great players out there, do you think you're going to play it as well as they are? Maybe, maybe not. But if you haven't been playing at that level before, what do you expect of this piece? And how well do you expect to play it? And are you happy with that? Because it can oftentimes be much more satisfying to play a lower level piece, an easier piece, and play it to a much higher level so that it's clean, so that it's expressive and it's beautiful. That's way more fun than playing a piece that's over our head and just like, it's like riding a runaway horse where you're just falling off the back of it, constantly trying to get back on it. That's not as nearly as fun. It's not as rewarding to play, to hear. It's not rewarding for other people to hear you play it. They just kind of, they're just hoping for you. They're just praying for you the whole time you're playing because it's obviously over your head. So avoid that and instead lower the bar a little bit as far as the pieces that you choose, but then play them up to a very higher level. That said, we do need challenge pieces. We need to stretch ourselves. We need to push ourselves. And I think it's wonderful to have pieces that good and well, this is going to be a ton of work and it's going to take a long time. And I'm game for that. I'll also play other smaller pieces in the midst of when I'm working on this. It's just, do you have your expectations in line? And if so, then you can make decisions based on those. But asking the hard questions to begin with is how to arrive at those answers. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you'll find some piece of music. This that we've been looking at is Mi Favorita. It's a lovely little piece, and maybe that'll be a piece. Is it too hard? Well, now you know how to figure that out. Have fun and good luck, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.